when nobody's watching and it's just you, that is a very eye-opening experience of how are you going to act? Like, how are you going to treat your goals, and how are you going to go about the things that you value when there is no external circumstance or force keeping you in line? You know? So that's what I like the most about working out. On the side that it is a pretty individual kind of endeavor, not much of a team. It's really you doing you. And what I like about that is it really kind of validates that I do want to do it. You know, I do want to stick to my diet, and I do want to train really hard, and I do want the results that all this training is going to give me, because I'm doing it. You know, I could just sit here and do I mean, shit, I could just go home and eat a bunch of trash and say that I stuck to my diet, but that'd be that'd be freaking stupid. I'm sure there's a lot of people who do that. You know, they say they're only eating chicken and rice, and then they go home and they eat a bunch of freaking junk. It's like, at least talk about it if you're going to eat it. Why do we still keep seeking that outside praise? So that's legit. That's a legitimate feeling. And honestly, the fact that you say it feels huge to you, I think, does mean that you care about, or that you value your own self, or that you put more importance on your own self-validation than that external validation. And, you know, it's like, sometimes you don't need people to understand, right? It's, I think everybody has a certain yearning of, like, whether you do something really cool and you want to share it with people, or, you know, maybe shit has been hitting the fan for you and you want to, like, just to put it in a very simple way, like, you want to, like, share your pain and have them empathize with you. But, you know, to a degree, it's kind of your life, man. You know, this is your stuff. For the most part, you're doing it for you. Even if it's, like, kind of like self-care, which kind of benefits everybody around you, it's still you, right? It's your journey. And that's how I look at it, you know? So if I'm killing it and I know that I'm doing my stuff, it's, if nobody's there to see it, it still happened, right? For everything that you do, it's never an if the tree falls in the forest, does anyone hear it? Because you're always there. You are always hearing it. It is doable, but it's still challenging, for sure. So instead of just thinking, all right, I'm going to make this set of squats the most insane fucking thing ever, it's an evenly distributed, I'm not going to eat that Oreo right now. Not doing it. I'm not going to stop in that Duchess gas station and get 4 bags of chips or whatever. I don't even have any chips cravings, but, like, you get what I'm saying. It just kind of requires a little bit, not a little bit, kind of a lot of just, like, self-discipline, you know? Like, I haven't said this before, but the enlightened lifter, yeah, it's been a while since I busted out that phrase, he can basically take any external circumstance or situation or shortcoming or, you know, response or feedback, and no matter what it is, positive or negative, somehow it's always going to come out positive after it gets funneled through his head, you know? So somebody's hyping you up, dude, you've been working out, you're looking pretty good, man. It's like, whoa, maybe you're carrying something heavy, guys, like, holy crap, heavy lifter over here. All right, little ego boost. Your grandma says, holy crap, I don't even recognize you. What did you do with my grandson? Basic ass ego boost. Obviously that's going to get you going. Or if you had a really serious fat loss transformation, your feedback will be slightly different, but it's like, dude, I don't even recognize you, you know? And some people will be nice about it. I mean, I get bulked for sure, so I haven't seen a couple of guys for like a few months at a time. And then they see me diet it down, trim her face, and it's like, whoa, Shane, you look so different. And they mean it well, but really what they're saying is, dude, last time I saw you, you were bulked to shit, and you finally peeled. Like, whoa. You know, that's just how big a difference is, going from like 260 down to 230. But that's pretty basic. Obviously, if people are gassing you up, it's easy to get gassed up and use that as motivation. But even if things aren't going your way, you know, you feel like you're just freaking down on your luck, you kind of self-depreciating, which is a self-soothing that I wouldn't recommend. You know, like if shit's going down, maybe it was something in your control and you regret it. Maybe it's something completely out of your control and you just got to deal with it. It doesn't help to stew, you know. Obviously, it's much easier said than done depending on the severity of the shit going on in your life. But at what point do you have to say, all right, I got to stop crying about this spilled milk, and I just got to deal with it, you know? So the sooner you can kind of say, you know what, whatever, I'm hitting this shit anyway. It doesn't matter that this, that, or the other, this guy said whatever. It's like, I'm gonna freaking bring it. Doesn't even matter, you know? So that's what I want to be able to do. I want to be able to take any external circumstance or feedback or response, positive or negative, and have it go through the Sam brain calculator and come out positive. Hopefully positive multiplied by a few levels. All right. You know, I just kind of realized I'm always saying some shit like, the gym is my thing, everybody should have a thing, or I would, I mean, you know, it's not like a rule, but I would think everybody should have something that you're really into and you'd like to do purely for the sake that you like it. Like take a hobby, but, you know, maybe a little further, you know, like more of an activity that you really like. A hobby could be a little more casual, but just, I mean, even if you categorize it as hobby level, that's cool too. But, you know, every time I'm talking about motivation and like consistency and the fact that if you really like something, the value of actually sticking to practicing it and getting better at it and becoming more proficient at it pays off, you know, a millionfold in the future. Like, if in my mind I really said to myself, you know, I think it would be really cool if I could freaking shred on the guitar. You can't shred instantly, nobody can. But if I sat and practiced for, you know, 30 minutes a day, 45 minutes a day, or whatever, you know, and had like a teacher and, you know, did courses, or then fast forward a year, you know, I could be freaking shredding, I guarantee it. You know, now I'm currently that internal desire to shred isn't really that big, so I'm not going to do it. But just things as simple as that kind of get me going. So I'm always saying, you know, a lot of the lifting motivation kind of translates because, you know, a lot of the times just getting better at anything is just practice times time, times consistency, times enjoyment, times like a little bit of self-reflection. Because people can show up, but it doesn't mean they're progressing. You know, there's guys who come to the gym pretty consistently. Their effort level is at a baseline, their consistency level is at a certain baseline, and that is going to result in just, you know, maintenance of whatever state that they're in. Not that everyone needs to be a freaking, you know, bodybuilder or insane lifter, or like, you know, bulking and cutting super hard. Like that's certainly not what I'm getting at. But, you know, it kind of just branches into everything else.